Hey everyone, I am back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I hope that you've had a really great week. For those of you who tune in every single Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, welcome back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Today, I am in the state of Oregon. So, all the way across country, I do reside in the Tampa Bay area of Florida, but normally somewhere or another, it seems like, with different work adventures. So, today's Oregon. Jet lag is very real. I just want to say that before I get started. For those of you who know, traveling about yesterday was quite a struggle, and I think I went to bed at like 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, which is 3 hours behind me, of course, in Florida. So, but yeah, just trying to adjust quickly here sometimes with the time zones. But again, thanks so much for those who are tuning in here today. For those of you who are brand new to Mental Health Moment, essentially, Mental Health Moment is about all things mental health, wellness. How do you become the best version of who you are, so you can show up powerfully for yourself and for those around you. Critically important. We definitely need both, right? For us and for those around us. Something I want you to think about. I know some of you take notes on Mental Health Moments. So you can jot down some notes, some things for you to think about today. But one of the questions I really want you to ask yourself, because a lot of times we're very busy, there's a gazillion things happening in the world, there's a million things happening in our personal lives, and we can get very overwhelmed and not take the chance to slow down just a little bit and ask ourselves how we're doing, right? And checking in. So, one of the things I want you to ask yourself and think about is, are you taking the time to find those moments of calm, to find those quiet, still moments, to find, even if it's a minute? I talk a lot, you all, about taking a minute, like 60 seconds a day, right? Are you really working on finding those times? Are you really taking the time to find those solid moments for yourself? And what I mean by that is, you're either at one place or the other. Either you are at the point, and there's no right or wrong here, but be honest with yourself. Either you're at the point in your self-care journey where you're like, you know what, I really, really know that I need to start, right? I need to make the commitment. I need to be consistent. I need to make sure I'm taking care of myself. Either you're in that boat, which is fine, or you're at a place where you're like, you know what, I'm good. I'm more in maintenance mode. It's one or the other, and it's okay wherever you're at. But what happens over time, and I can tell you personally for sure, with training your mind to start to find places, to start to find things, to start to find opportunities for you to get into a place of reset and recharge, right? So, as I mentioned before, I flew to Oregon yesterday. Oh, the week is already flying by, it feels like. And nonetheless, it takes a long time to get to Oregon from Florida. I told you earlier about the time change and the jet lag and all those sorts of things. But nonetheless, one of the things that I've done over years is really work on training my brain to find the calm times, even if it's a sliver of time. So for me, often because I'm on planes, it's usually looking out of a window when I get the window seat the majority of the time. And not even just planes though, it's finding moments. Today was like going to a local coffee shop here in Oregon, taking a short amount of time. It didn't take that long. Getting my favorite, my chai tea latte with oat milk. For you, if it's coffee, if it's another kind of tea, whatever it is, if it's water, like whatever it is for you, just like taking those down times. So taking that short amount of time today to sit down at this coffee shop, enjoy a cup of tea. It didn't take me hours and hours, obviously, for that to happen. It was a short amount of time, but it was just a moment of reset and recharge. Today, also, we don't have mountains in Florida, as you all know, of course, but there's mountains here, and I love mountains. So just taking a minute to take that in, like the place is really beautiful. Like I find mountains to be very beautiful. So I was videoing some mountains and just taking a minute again to reset, recharge. So for you, again, asking yourself and being honest, are you in the place of needing to really start this journey, or maybe reset yourself even with the self-care journey? Or are you in a place of maintenance? If you're in a place of maintenance, great. If you're in the place where you're like, man, I used to take care of myself, do my self-care, I fell off a little bit. It's almost the fourth month of the year here coming up. So maybe you had some goals in January and you're like, man, here we are a couple months in, I got off track. That's okay. It's okay to get off track. Your goal, though, is to get back on track, right? With whatever it is that you set for your wellness goals for this year. But again, think about, what do you need right now? Those needs are always going to change. Well, for some of you, it can change week to week, month to month, year to year. Like, we're all in different places. We're all experiencing different things. We all have different lives, different needs, whether it's family, whether it's work, whether it's school, whether it's a combination of these things. We all have different journeys. But making sure that you think about, what do you need, and think about training yourself to see the possibilities each day, because it's really easy. And thanks for those who are still starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Let me know where you're tuning in here in the chat, even though for some reason I can't see the comments today, which lately, like I said, there's just been some kind of glitch with the system. So I can't see the comments. But thank you all for joining, because I see that you all are here. Just can't see all the comments. But again, take the time with yourself. I know our time is limited sometimes. I really know personally and professionally that it can feel like I just don't have enough time. But once your mindset is shifted and you recognize you deserve to have this time, you deserve to be better and healthier mentally and physically and emotionally and spiritually. Once you fully embody that and understand that you deserve that, you will absolutely make the time. And the amount of time that you devote to yourself, the amount of time that you get into that reset, recharge, it really varies, right? It varies. Maybe some of you are like, Dr. Hammond, like, I don't need 60 seconds, I need like 60 days. I don't know, like a major reset. And it's fine. Like, we have to do what's realistic, right? For most of us in life, we're not taking like a 60-day reset. Some people are, and that's fine. But most of us aren't. But whatever it is that you need, again, maybe you do need a mental health day. Maybe you need a whole hour. Maybe you need a minute. You have to ask yourself that. And again, what is realistic, what is feasible for you to make happen, then you start to make that happen. So thanks again for those who are still starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. And before I forget, so I've been sharing this the last couple mental health moments, but I'm going to take a quick break, excuse me, to remind you all, I will be at the Get to Worthy Summit, which is in Philadelphia, May 24th and 25th. The promo code, if you are headed to that event, is Hammond10. You can get $10 off for either general admission or VIP tickets. And it's going to be fantastic. It's all about emotional and mental wellness. It's going to be run by Nate Evans Jr. He's producing. He's a great friend of mine. He's amazing in the mental health space. Great speakers, great panelists. It's going to be phenomenal. So again, if you're in the Philadelphia area that weekend, be sure to check that out. You can go to gettoworthysummit.com. And again, register, promo code. You can use my promo code Hammond10 to get that discount. So be sure to do that. And as I mentioned before, I will be letting you all know where I'm speaking at this year when it's public, when it's open to the public. Of course, I do have some other speaking engagements, but they're for organizations and they're private this year. So unfortunately, I can't invite you all, but I will when I can, when they are open to the public. So this one is. If you need me, you can also reach me at Dr.Nekeshiahammond.com. I've been mentioning a little bit, like sneak preview behind the scenes of a new book that I have coming out, which I'm almost ready to announce. I can't wait. We're getting close. I'm hopefully confident at the end of next month, I will be able to officially announce where we're at with that project. So I'm super excited about that. But nonetheless, again, I want you to remember that when you take because a lot of times, so I get a lot of questions being a psychologist and why is self-care important and what do you do for self-care and all these sorts of things. Here's why it is important, because it, as crazy as it sounds, self-care used to be There used to be this thought that, like, oh, heaven forbid you take a break, you're not going to be productive. And the research shows the opposite of that, you all. So, whatever it is that you have, again, for some of you that are working, for some of you that are parents or grandparents or whatever role that you play, all the busy lives and hectic lives that we normally tend to have globally, doing a lot of different things. It, to take the time to do the reset and recharge, again, if it's a minute a day, if you need an hour, if you need a day, if you need a weekend, whatever you need for you, actually helps you to accomplish more. It helps you to accomplish more, to take the downtime and take the breaks. I cannot tell you personally either, over the last years, I don't even know how many years it's been, but a long time, when I really started changing my life. So I wasn't doing what I was doing before, which was not healthy, which was not including enough self-care. Like, it just opens up the world for you, the world of possibilities for you in a good way. And again, why don't someone asked me the other day, I was on a webinar interview, like, why self-care type of thing. And it's like, well, don't the people around you, they also deserve to have the best version of you too, right? So this isn't just for you. Self-care is not selfish. It's not just for you. It is for you, but not only for you, but it's for the people around you as well, right? Again, your family members, your friends, your coworkers, whomever, maybe it's someone at your place of worship, whomever it is, they want to see the best version of you too, right? They want you to show up like not drained and not tired all the time and not irritated and agitated all the time. They want, right? Don't we want to be around people who are happy, who are glowing, who are helpful? Don't we want that? Right. And it doesn't have to mean every day. That's unrealistic. But when we work, make it a mission to work on improving ourselves, it's a gift, honestly, that we're giving to other people too. So I want you to keep that in mind. So again, for those of you just now tuning in here, today we're talking about, like assessing for yourself, because a lot of times we're rushing, we're doing a lot of different things, and we don't take the time to stop and think, where are we at in this process? So when you're asking yourself, and it's okay, be honest with yourself, you all, but are you at the point where you need a reset and recharge? Maybe you started different self-care goals, you got off track. That's okay, right? We work on getting back on track, or maybe you're in maintenance mode right now. So either way, there's no right or wrong. The most important thing to do for your mental health, and this is hard, I get it, I really get it, I know it's hard, but one of the most important things for you to do is work on not having the self-blame. I know it's hard sometimes to do that, but work on not having so much self-blame. What I've seen, I've been in this field for over 15 years. And what I have seen time and time and time and time again is, we as a community, we don't give ourselves enough credit. We don't, we're in a constant state of blaming ourselves, judging ourselves. We didn't do this, we didn't do that. Maybe you did something amazing, but maybe you did something amazing with your self-care goals. Something happened in your life. You got off track for a week or a month or whatever it is, right? And then we get into this self-blame game, which doesn't help us to get back on track, right? So do your best to not fall into that category. Whenever you start to get into that category, wherever, because again, we're a couple months into the year here, right? We're about to start a whole new quarter of the year coming up. But whenever you get into that place where you're like, man, I can't believe I got off track, whatever your goals were for the year, I can't believe I got off track. Think about, again, but how much, how much progress did you make though? Like, how much progress did you make? And also, like, can you celebrate the small wins too? Can you celebrate the baby steps? Can you celebrate if you just got started? Like, those are big steps. So celebrate those things instead of falling into that pattern of the self-blame. And thanks for those who are still starting to join here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. So I want you to remember these things today. They're all reminders to you, but they're really, really important, because at the end of the day, what tends to happen is we think we're a lot of us are just sort of going through life, not taking the time to do the reset and recharge, but making sure that you think about, how do you get into a place where you can make sure that you are your number one priority. So again, if you don't remember anything from today's mental health moment, I want you to remember, make yourself your number one priority. Critically important for you to think about doing. Make yourself your number one priority. Make your well-being, your mental health, your wellness, your physical health, your emotional health, your mental health, your spiritual health, all those parts of wellness, make that your number one priority. Get into that mindset. When you when you get there, you're going to have questions, which is okay, but when you fully work on getting there and you really start to ask yourself, what do I need? What are the next steps? What's best for me? Like, you really start asking yourself those questions, your life will start to change for the better. But again, it takes time to get there, and that's okay. Make yourself your number one priority. Everything in your life will be affected in a positive way when you start to do that. It's just that we as a community have to unlearn a lot of things we were taught before about putting everything else above us. Put work above you, put family above you, put all these things above you, and then you fall apart in the process, which doesn't help the things that you were trying to be a part of, right? So you make yourself your number one priority. You like come to mental health moment, thank you, right? Show up here, but also what can you do for you to continue to improve yourself? What can you read if you're a reader, or if you listen to podcasts, or if you're on YouTube, or if you're using social media, like in whatever way you can, work on staying uplifted, working on yourself, knowing and learning yourself, and knowing what you need to heal from. It's a whole nother mental health moment, by the way. But when you're in that state of mind, positive things start to happen. So if you need me, I'm going to wrap up here. You can always go to drnekeshiahammond.com, or you can connect on Instagram, dr.hammond, Facebook, Dr. Nekeshia Hammond, LinkedIn, Dr. Nekeshia Hammond, or Twitter, or X, I guess it's called now. Dr._Hammond over there. So again, I will be back. Have an amazing week. Be blessed. Find a way this week to reset, recharge yourself, and continue to make the commitment to you. So I'll see you all next week. Bye, you guys.